Do you have one of these? And not one of these? Wishing you could play it on one of these? Do not throw out or sell your Atari 5200. Modify it! With a few extra dollars and a little bit of elbow grease, you too can get your Atari 5200 right into the 21st century. Hey everyone, Reverend C here. Today we're going to be modifying an Atari 5200 Super System to work on a modern television. This mod will be a fun one, so let's go ahead and get started. Here is a better look at the Atari 5200 Super System. It has some really cool features such as a storage for the controllers. It also has this unique wraparound feature for the AC RF cord. This particular console happens to be a 4-player version, but there is also a 2-player version, which is actually easier to mod than this one. There are several screws on this console, so be mindful where they are. Here are the tools I'm going to use. A helping hand to help with the soldering, a trusty screwdriver set, a voltmeter to test the power, a drill to make the access holes for the RCA connectors, my old Field Tech set which includes a soldering iron, solder, a solder sucker, pair of dikes, very handy pair of needle nose pliers, and a pair of wire strippers. Let's have a look at the guts of the Atari 5200. This was its first run. Its second run was a 2-player version. Having a bird's eye view of the motherboard, we can see what a huge difference this is to the Atari 2600. You will have to remove a capacitor, and it is this one. This is the Charlie 45 capacitor. You will also have to remove the AC RF cable from the motherboard. We're going to be creating a whole new AC jack for the 5200, and it is with this kit. 2 port owners can actually skip this part. Now that the C45 has been removed, you will also need to remove the L8, that's Lima 8. Remember to clean up your surfaces for the new capacitor and your leads. Towards the rear is where I found is the best place to install the AC port. This kit is brought to you by Console5.com. Check them out for all of your Atari needs. Off the bat, you can go ahead and remove these pieces right here and focus on what's left. You have your AC jack port, your negative wire, positive wire, capacitor. That is going to replace the C45. Pay attention to the stripe on the capacitor. That goes towards the negative. Make sure it is pointing towards the right. The little diode connects to the positive lead. The smaller diode goes in between the port and the negative. Using the helping hand, solder all of your parts. This is what the finished product would look like. The smaller diode goes onto both positive and negative. Try your best to shrink wrap it or at least use electrical tape. You can trim the edge of the diode a little before soldering it onto the board. This is the finished product. This is what it looks like from inside the console. I used the universal drill bit to make the hole for the port. A 1/4 inch should do it. After you've finished the power mod, it's time to do the video mod. The first step of the video mod is to remove this 450 chip. In some versions of the 5200 like mine, the chip just pops off. On other versions, however, the new board will have to be soldered on. The small board, better known as Brian's board, is available by the Brewing Academy. Check out their site for other Atari hardware. This little guy also comes pre-configured for the Atari 5200 and does have the socket for it. I've chosen the other side of the rear of the 5200 to drill for the RCA jacks. I removed the R41 resistor here on this side of the board, and using telco wire and one of the diodes provided in the kit, I went ahead and soldered the line for audio. This red line will go to the back where the audio is going to connect. The diode, in case you were curious, is to cut down on interference. After installing the board, have a look at the R17. This is where you solder the in part of the chip. From right to left, the ground wire for your audio goes into the second slot. From left to right, your composite wire, i.e. video wire, goes in the second slot. From there, you can follow the telco wires to the back where we've put in our ports. Since this is a mono system, I ran the audio across both left and right channels to get sound out of both ports. Now you are pretty much done. Let's go ahead and tuck your wire away nice and neat, put your shielding back on, and put the console back together, and you are ready to test. So let's go ahead and test out some games. Start with the classic Pac-Man. As you can see here, Pac-Man looks crisp and clean. It is nice and smooth, and this is transmitting in 1080i. It does look absolutely beautiful. Next, let's go ahead and test out Defender. This is a far cry from the 2600 version of Defender. It is also very smooth, very clean. The flashing you see is perfectly normal. That is exactly how the game was. Once again in 1080, this looks absolutely great as well. Let's test for speed and pop in Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man looks exactly as it should, with its famous pink background versus its blue background to Pac-Man. Speed-wise, it's right on par. I'm not doing much movement because I'm holding this camera, but as you can see, it is perfectly smooth and looks absolutely beautiful. Let's go ahead and do a Nintendo port for the Atari 5200, Mario Brothers. Again, a huge difference from its Atari 2600 counterpart. The gameplay is smooth, the characters are smooth, there's really no pixelation, there's no interruption. This is a winner, as you can see. Looks great. Go ahead and have a peek at the finished product. That was the AC jack. As far as what to do with the AC RF switch box, I would say put that in the storage bin, because you never know the day that you may want to sell the old girl and the collector is going to want it. So I would just say go ahead and put it in storage, but it's up to you. If you choose to put it on eBay, then you do so. Well, that's the end, my friends. I'd love to read your comments if you've tried this mod. How did it go? Were your results any better? Were they any worse? Were they about the same? Anyway, thank you for stopping by. This is once again your boy Reverend C here, reminding you to click like, subscribe, comment down below, and as always, everybody out there, stay safe, be ye kind one to another, and peace out, and I will catch you on the next one.